up, boppers? I want to talk about some more things that I've experienced as a targeted individual, all the fun stuff that I go through. So I'm not going to I'm not going to talk in any chronological order. I'm just going to throw different experiences out there as they pop into my head. How's that sound? So let's talk about how I had a squad car in front of my house from another town. Porter, actually, is the town. I have a photo of it as well, for about 10 minutes. And so when I approached the door, which has a window in it, with my phone, with my camera ready, an SUV pulled up simultaneously, spoke to the officer in the squad car, and the squad car took off. Now the squad car's sitting there with its lights on the entire time, no siren, just chilling in front of my house. And sitting in front of my house is not a real convenient place to be fucking chilling for any car. As a matter of fact, no cars park on the street at all. There's no place for cars to park. Everyone parks in their driveway or garage on my block. Okay, so there's that. Then one day, I was sitting in my garage, and I had my phone in my hand over my leg, and I felt a pain in my leg, like I got zapped, and I looked down, and my phone was directly over my leg, and I had a blister from a burn. Let's talk about how I wake up with blisters on the tip of my nose like I've been out in the sun. But I haven't, because that is the use of, guess what? Directed energy weapons. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how I was in the gas station just trying to buy a fucking candy bar, and this guy comes in red and black because they use colors. It's a PSYOP. So we'll use certain color patterns with targeted individuals, and mine is red and black, or was. You know, lately I've seen red and white. I don't fucking know what they're you know, I don't really understand why they do that. I know they do it because they're trying to trigger some sort of psychological response, but whatever. So this guy comes in and dressed in red and black with an iPad, and he stands right next to me in the middle of the store, just standing there on his iPad. And all of a sudden, I felt the most intense anxiety of my life. And it took everything I had to pay for my shit and leave. Now, that just doesn't happen to me. I just don't get anxious out of nowhere for nothing. I don't get panic attacks unless it's like a seriously traumatic situation. I'm not going to go into a full-blown anxiety attack buying a fucking Hershey bar. It's not going to happen to me. I've been through too much shit, you see. But this is what they do. This is who they are. They torture citizens, and they do it for profit. Sometimes it's community groups or church groups, so they're just part of the community-oriented, community-oriented policing, they call it. So they have these losers, and they make them believe that there's some sort of cop. You know, it's in the name. Community-oriented policing. So they feel important and, you know, special, and in the in crowd and all of that type of shit. And then they tell these people a bunch of lies about you. So whatever is going to piss you off about that person, they're going to tell you, you know. And tell you, oh, this person, if the particular gang stalker they've hired is an animal rights activist, so they'll tell that person that the target hurts animals. And, you know, whatever it takes. Whatever it is, you know. But anyway, I've had things stolen out of my house that I've talked about, including my family photo album that's filled with people that are dead, so I can't take their picture again, you know? And I don't have copies or negatives of any of this shit. They've stolen things from my yard. I've come home, my garage door has been open when I know I shut the fucking thing, you know? I know what I'm doing. I'm not flaky, so I'm not going to do shit like that and not know it. But this is what they do, and what they want to do, what they're trying to do is drive you crazy and get you to kill yourself, and they want to isolate you from everyone. So that man coming in the gas station and eliciting that response through his electronic equipment makes me look unstable. So then, you know, this is a neighborhood gas station right down the street from my house. People are going to say, that lady in the little green car is fucking crazy. So no one will listen to me, no one will take me seriously, and I lose all of my credibility. And then that isolates me further. I was always very social. I had friends, always, in my life, always. You know, I am an introverted person, INFJ personality type. But that doesn't mean you don't like people. You're just more selective with the people that you're with. But yeah, this isolation is really something. And they know what they're doing, because what's the worst punishment you can give a prisoner? Put them in solitary confinement, right? 30 days in the hole. That's how they punish hardcore prisoners. And that's what they do to targeted individuals, is they isolate us. They take everything and everyone from us. And we can't even make friends. Because if you try to make friends with someone, immediately they come in and they slander you. And it's so insidious that it looks like just a normal, everyday occurrence. You don't have men in black coming in and going, oh, this is a person of interest and blah, bitty, blah, blobs. You know? It seems like just a normal, everyday fucking thing. Normal, everyday conversation where I'm just, you know, slipped in there and slandered. I've had some crazy things happen in traffic that were just mind-boggling. Like, that was so deliberate. Like, cars literally going straight at me. And it even happened once in front of a police officer, and I honked my fucking horn and pointed at the car, like, you gonna do something? The fucking cop ignored it. Local cop. Happened here in town. Fucking car went right at me in my fucking lane. And the police officer didn't do shit. Could that be just a coincidence? Just some shitty driver? Of course. And that is the thing about this, is it could always look like that. But how many times is that going to happen? Before you realize that this is not random. And another thing they like to do is let you know that they know what you are doing. So I had this local gang stalker who befriended my daughter, even though she's significantly older than her, and they don't have any common friends or anything in common other than they both like to smoke weed. My daughter did. She doesn't anymore, I'm sure. But, yeah, so this fucking bitch on social media started blogging everything I was doing. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I went to, say I went to a bakery, then all of a sudden she fucking posts a picture of a bakery, you know? And this is happening over and over again, letting me know I I'm gang stalking you, but if you call me out on it, you're gonna look crazy, right? Because I could always explain this away some way. Oh, I did that because of this. You're just paranoid. So then she told my daughter, oh, I want to be friends with your mom. So she was trying to get in, but I already spotted her out. I was like, fuck no. And then I embarrassed the fuck out of her. Directly. So speaking of my daughter, for a short time there, we were sharing location information between each other on our phones. And she watched my location bounce around all over town. Numerous times, more times than I could count, and I have all this evidence. I would type in my current location into a search engine, and it would pop up these different houses around town, mostly. Sometimes in Chicago. So I went, and it would happen over, and it wasn't just like it would just bounce around. It would be consistently a certain house for a while, and then it would switch to another house. And I would go to these houses and ring the doorbell and knock on the door, and no one would ever answer, okay? One gang stalker, it was always putting me at her apartment building. Well, it turns out that she and my husband were having an affair. And she's gang stalking me too. Because he has a little harem of gang stalkers. That's a whole nother video. So anyway, I went and I was ringing the doorbell. Went into her building, was ringing the doorbell, and then I drove outside and I was fucking yelling her name, telling her to get the fuck out of my fucking phone, you fucking low-life, trash fucking cunt. Screaming her name. Now, I don't know, man, because if I'm not up to anything fucking dirty and somebody calls me out on some shit I didn't fucking do, yelling in front of my house, I'm coming out. And I'm going to ask you what the fuck your problem is. Or I'm going to answer my door. Right? So yeah, I'll leave it there. There's so much more. I could talk all day, honestly, about the stuff that I've experienced. And, yeah, but I'll leave it at that.